turtle.
Hello. Yeah, I know, it's been a while and I apologize for that, but I have finally a video topic that I wanted to talk about, which is Life is Strange Double Exposure. Now, if you've watched my past channel and, looked at my videos, you may have noticed that one of these reviews, I did review the first Life is Strange video game. And if you're wondering why I haven't reviewed the other ones, it's mainly out of personal interest, because I always feel like those videos aren't going to be very, fun to make or to talk about. It's either because they're not really memorable, or they're not that memorable experiences to write a whole thing about, a review, or so to speak. So for this game, however, there is a lot to talk about. So yeah, just strap in. No spoilers. Well, no spoilers until later. So yeah, Life is Strange Double Exposure is the direct sequel to the first game, which follows the same main character, Max Caulfield, several years after her actions that caused Arcadia Bay to be destroyed. Well, that's one of the choices. If you did choose the other choice, where Chloe dies, that's on you. So anyways, in this game, we're trying to find out who murdered our new best friend, Safi. So yeah, when I heard the premise of the new game, I wasn't as excited as I should be, because, well, technically the premise is basically the same as the past game, Life is Strange True Colors. So here's the irony part. I didn't review that game because I saw the game as maybe, too safe, so to speak, and not much to talk about. But if I did make a review, I would have mentioned how the franchise should have taken more risks. With this new game, I expected them to take risks, and yeah, they did. It's not at all what I expected. So before I get really negative, I'm going to start with the positives first, because the game isn't completely bad. First off, the graphics. They are quite nice, I ain't gonna lie. And the new character models are definitely a step up from the last game. And also the new updated models of Max and, well, literally just Max. Yeah, they look much better. And I also like the setting being more winter based, since the last game was more spring based. So it gives a little bit more of, different. It also shows off the graphics, actually. That's definitely the right thing, because there's a lot of snowing in this game. So yeah, the character of Max Caulfield herself is as good as the last game. And I enjoyed her charisma and her character growth as she handles the choices from the first game and tries to move on from it. There are also some good set pieces in this game that are very creative and serve as nice callbacks to the first game, while also making it as a character arc for Max, as the arc in this story is pretty well done. I won't spoil what it is, but if you played the first game, it feels very satisfactory, at least in her aspect. I also enjoyed the new powers that they gave her, because she accidentally created 2 timelines. I won't say how, but it also offers some new, interesting ways to play with the game. It makes for interesting interactions with other characters as well, because, it's not what you always expect. It's a little more different, which I appreciate, because if it would have been just reversing time all over again, it would have been just really generic to the point where it wouldn't have been fun to play. Continuing on from what I was saying, the music and the soundtrack is very nice. These games have a very good, consistent soundtrack and put memorable tracks along with the game, and I enjoy their chill vibes, as well as they, serve story beats and scenes. And, well, there weren't some memorable songs in this case, because while the other games do have memorable songs that are stuck in my head, like Mountains or Mount Washington, they're catchy songs, but here I didn't remember a single song. Mainly, I don't know if it's down to taste or they didn't fit the vibe very well, but for me at least, they were pretty nice and chill, but again, not memorable, so to speak. So yeah, there's some positives right there, but now I have to talk about the negatives. And trust me, I wish this game was as good as it was, because there was some goddamn potential here for a good sequel to Life is Strange. But unfortunately, the main problem with this game is the fucking writing. It's sloppy, downright messy at some points. Since there are aspects that are dropped, rushed, or have complete plot holes that make no sense whatsoever. Let me give you an example, okay? So, a lot of these games, they offer love interests, right? and throughout the game you get to know a little bit more about this person, or you know, increase the chances of you wanting this relationship to happen, so to speak. Well, that did not happen in this game, because while the game does offer you love interests, in this run I specifically chose Amanda, it feels very underdevelopment, and also at the end it's not very satisfactory, because you go through all the trouble and it basically amounts to nothing since they don't get together in the end. There is some romance there, clearly, and there is some charisma, but it's basically leading to nothing. Nothing. There's also a couple twists in the game. While I enjoyed the first one because of how fucking hilarious it is, the main reveal at the end of episode 4 is fucking crazy and abrupt, and should have been elaborated more, as it's kept very vague as the possible intentions behind it. Here's another huge problem I have to mention, by the way. You know the friend we're supposed to care about, Safi. And by the way, she is underwritten, by the way. She's very underwritten. But once we get to know her, you know, better, like at first she's very underwritten. She's killed off pretty fucking quickly. And we get to, you know, later on we get to know more of her motivations and her character. You wish you hadn't, because she starts to flip-flop sides more time than the fucking Big Show in WWE. Even the final choice involving her character feels like an obvious one, yet the game makes it seem like, oh yeah, there's a choice. There's definitely a choice here, guys. Totally won't lead to the same ending. Because here's the problem. Your choices don't matter, as the game ends the same way instead of having a few endings to choose from. Let me give you an example. Remember the first Life is Strange game? Your choices mattered because while you were deciding whether or not if you wanted to save Chloe or let a whole town drown as a result of that. And well, to be honest, whatever choice you made, there was technically no right one, because there was supposed to be some casualties no matter what you do. So yeah, your choices technically did matter in the first game, and here they don't. It feels very linear, very generic, and also just kind of downright underwhelming. The character is very generic, very underwhelming. The main conflict itself being sidetracked, and basically later on in episode 5 is basically nostalgia pandering to the first game fans. While I did enjoy those nostalgia bait scenes and, you know, oh yeah, that's from the first game type energy, I just, at the end of the day, it was just meant to use as a distraction for how poorly the climax is done in this game. Yeah, while the gameplay is fine, no doubt, there's just one annoying problem with it too. To switch to a different timeline, you have to be in a specific spot that the game chooses for you, instead of having the freedom to just switch wherever you want, whenever you want. So yeah, if you want to switch to a different timeline, you have to go around the area, see the sparkling lights, and then switch the timelines over, run back, and head up to one of the characters to have an interaction with them. If anything, it is very, very tedious. Not to mention downright lazy, because you could just, it would have been better to just switch it like that, you know, switch it on this fly. And it's just, at that point, why not just do that in the first place, you know? So yeah, I'm gonna review and give the rating a 5 out of 10 here. As while there are some fun moments in this game, I call it very underwhelming, not satisfying, as not every loose thread is ended properly, and it would have benefited from a rewrite, to be honest. It feels rushed. I'm not sure if this is the intended direct sequel that they wanted, but it doesn't feel that way, which is very disappointing. So now, here's the part where I can tell you guys you can leave or you can stay, because there's some spoilers coming up, and some of the problems I have, it wouldn't be fair if I just spoiled them. So yeah, here's the spoiler section. Here's your warning. What the actual fuck? Why is Max the killer? While I do like the twist, I knew exactly what's gonna happen, because it was supposed to be like, oh yeah, it's like the first game. You get to choose Chloe or the town, except this time you shoot Safi or you save the town. I was like, bro, not again. And while luckily it didn't happen, guess what they do? They do something much worse than that. Look, I have no idea if Safi was meant to be written like a villain, but the point where she starts monologuing to Max about how they're fucking gods with the powers and they could just do anything they want, I ain't gonna lie, it seems extremely out of character for her. Because beforehand, while she had some, mean Carrie type thoughts, she still cared enough. But I guess, I don't know if she snapped or anything, but it wasn't shown that way because Max and Safi were still having conversations like normal while they were in the fucking storm in the first place. And all of a sudden, they're like, hey, I'm Magneto. I can do whatever the fuck I want. I have powers.
Okay, Max Caulfield.
Be seeing you.
And it doesn't make any sense. And also, why are there more people agreeing with Safi? She's clearly gone out the deep end. It makes no sense to side with her. It would make more sense to side with Max. Because as Max as a character, she would not want to basically use her powers for selfish reasons. Technically. If you catch my drift. I don't know. Because Safi has more of a god complex. And Max is... In the first game, she was just a teenager. Teenagers make dumb mistakes. And that's what she was doing, right? In this game, it seems more like, oh, I have good intentions. I'm not actually trying to use it for selfish reasons, Which is, yeah. But why is Safi doing that? When it feels out of character for her. If she was meant to be written like that, I wouldn't be complaining so much. But she's the lady that we have to save in the whole time. And at one point, I was just like, is she even worth it, Max? At that point, is she even worth it? Like, I understand that the book deal was the tipping point. And I understand that that's why she snapped in the first place and causes that whole storm again. By the way, rehashing the storm? Really? Come on. You guys could come up with something else. Well, episode 3 was kind of setting up like, oh, 2 versions. And what happened to that? They just dropped it out of nowhere. I like the idea of the detective and the other detective mixing up to the point where they both don't exist. That was cool, and I thought it was going to be leading to something like that. But no, it's never mentioned again aside from a text message from Moses. So yeah, what in the world are they doing? It just feels very, very weird. They were just throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what was sticking, and nothing would damn stick. Instead, they decided to rehash aspects from the first game, which is completely lazy. Lazy. That's the fucking word I would use. Lazy. So yeah, there's just a lot of convoluted information of the book deal twist too. Because at one point I was just like, oh my god, okay, where did this started from? And I had to look up Reddit. I'm sorry, because I was so confused. Because at one point it's like, oh, it's this guy. Oh no, it's actually her mom. Excuse me? What? So I want to thank Reddit user Edric for pointing out the fucking convoluted way the book thing happened, as it's not explained very well to the audience at all. And once again, it's messy. Not to mention that Max stopping the storm the way she did by just created a bunch of plot holes. Because, oh yeah, why couldn't she do that in the first game? Was it because of no knowledge of what to do? Or was it because she was scared that she would cause more problems? Or what? No, you want to know what it is? Bad writing. That's what it is. Because whenever they introduce a conflict and it can't be solved, because the storm was either, okay, well, you have to go back in time and reset everything, or you let your fucking friend survive, but you let the whole town get destroyed by the storm. So yeah, there was no other choice aside from that. And instead, in this game, it's like, oh, no, you know what? There is a third choice. You can save everyone. I don't know. I just like a game that doesn't just contradict itself from the first game. Also, if you were wondering what happens to Chloe in this game, if you choose to keep her alive, they break up because I don't know what it was. Max described it as, oh yeah, she wanted to live in the future. I was still in the past. But then the game also tells us it's because of her powers. What? Choose one explanation, and honestly, I prefer the first explanation, because if Max is still guilty about Arcadia Bay, I would understand if they broke up because it would be too much for her. But it seems like they were just choosing both. I don't understand. And obviously, Chloe doesn't show up, but there are some voice lines from the actress, I believe, and they were kind of funny. I ain't gonna lie, they were cool. It's nice. That's nostalgia. That's fine. That's fine nostalgia. I don't like story aspects coming back in a new way. I mean, not a new way. Use the same way. So yeah, the explanation for the breakup makes no sense. And most of my criticisms can go back to one simple thing: bad writing. And it's clear from the beginning that the writing group from the first game is not in this game. And it's very clear to me that they're trying to set up sequels as well, while not worrying about this game at all. Because while Max, I think, has a nice character arc here and opening up and letting go of the past, everyone else is very, very underwritten. Because while you can remember most of the side characters from the first game, hell, even the second and maybe True Colors, I'm not sure, but you can definitely remember some from Before the Storm. I just can't remember like half of these characters from this game. Like, I can remember Moses and Safi, but that's it. That's literally it. Maybe Amanda, but I forgot the mom's name. So yeah, not very memorable. Very underwritten. Could have definitely benefited from a fucking rewrite. So yeah, that is Life is Strange Double Exposure. A very, very big disappointment. I expected better, to be honest. And I hope that this game, if it sells well, that they take the criticisms and make a better game for the next one. And yes, there is going to be a sequel, judging by the ending.
Oh, wow. Okay. What the fuck?
Look at the double down to work.
I spent $50 on this.
It's called bad money.
So yeah, thank you all for watching. I appreciate you guys watching past videos, and I hope you guys have an excellent day.
Always someone trying to be on top.
I can feel it.
Getting her.
Max and Sophie? Not Max and Chloe? So, that's it then? We're done?
Oh,
Oh, that's
Sophie's
what breaks
cooler
the
than
yellow
you ever
barriers.
were.
Okay.
Cause she drives a Porsche?
The blade
'Cause
balancer.
She has powers.
I fucking
This
get that.
is so fucked up.
Is
I
this
would
one right
never,
here?